So joining us exclusively this morning now from Madison, Wisconsin is Charles Cornell's attorney, Chris Van Wagner. Thanks for being with us this morning. Your client, you've said, remembers the incident vividly. He remembers hearing Tegan hit the ground. He remembers seeing her, but he blanked out at that crucial moment. Is that, in fact, how he says this happened?
That is how he says it happened. He had one of those momentary space outs. That's human nature. We have it while we're driving, while we're talking, while we're sitting there. I mean, it's awful. It's terrible. Well, we don't believe it's criminal.
So you see just one of these human moments. Do you see any difference then between, say, spacing out at your desk at work and spacing out when you're operating a ride where you have someone's life in your hands?
Well, there's a terrific difference in terms of the risk, but in the area of criminal law, what the criminal law seeks to address and correct and punish is when people do things that that reflect something in their mind that is more than just carelessness. And even carelessness can be a crime in certain limited circumstances, but in Wisconsin at least, the only two circumstances in which that is true is if you're operating a motor vehicle carelessly, very carelessly, but not quite recklessly, and somebody is killed because of it, or if you're handling a firearm and you're careless with it. Now, in this particular case, I'd put it to you this way, Erica. In order for the state to convict anybody in this circumstance, they have to show not that he had one of those moments where he said, oh my God, what'd I do? But rather, I don't really give a darn what happens next. And there's a big difference there.
And that's because he is charged with one count here. It's first-degree recklessness. And so
right, he's charged with being reckless in a criminal fashion. It requires that they show that he made a conscious disregard. He engaged in conscious disregard of a substantial risk of death. Now, obviously, any mistake by an operator in his position could be fatal. And what happened to Tegan Marty is just awful. He's devastated, but whether it's criminal or not is a different question. And it's really ultimately difficult for many people that I've spoken with to understand why he was even charged. On the other hand, the district attorney has interpreted the law the way they have, and that's what cases are all about.
And there is a little girl lying in a hospital now. We don't know if she's paralyzed. We don't know if she'll ever get up or be able to really communicate properly again. So a lot of people would say that is why he is charged. This all happened less than a month ago. He is devastated, as you said, and yet he's back working at the amusement park. Is it not a little soon for him to be back there? I imagine that's got to be difficult for your client.
Well, first you got to understand, the Dells is it's a place where there's a 10-week work season. You go from 2 weeks before the 4th of July until Labor Day. And the people from the Dells are hard-working, blue-collar people, and they put in 20-hour days for 10 weeks. He is an all-purpose guy there. He's been there all his life, since he was 16, and there's work to be done. He is an honorable man. He feels terrible, but when he came back to work, it was because he owed that obligation to his boss, and he continues to honor it. But he's devastated. He thinks about this every day. It's breaking his heart. It really is.
It is a terrible, tragic story. Chris Van Wagner, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Erica, for having me. Have a good day.